Yeah. See, our next concept is, so in the last class, we already discussed clearly how a method returns object, right? And how a method takes object as parameter. Now, in the same way, the first discussion is what? Method returns interface as a return value, and in the same way, method takes interface as argument. First of all, remember, it is impossible to instantiate interface. It's impossible to instantiate interface. Are you getting the voice? Okay. It's impossible to instantiate the interface. Remember that point. Okay. Now, see, after instantiating, we need to return that object or we need to pass the object, but it is not possible. Then what we have to do means what? Every interface has implementation. Please mute yourself. Every interface has implementation. Okay, that implemented object only we are passing, or that implemented object only we are returning. Let me explain with the simple examples. Suppose I'm writing one interface. Interface name is a test. Suppose consider interface name is a test. Here it is interface. Just I'm implementing with a class. Any class we are taking. Interfaces contains abstract methods. Of course, by default, the methods are public and abstract. By default, public and abstract. Here I'm taking one class. Suppose class name is a first. The first class is implementing interface. Interface test contains the abstract method. Now we are taking one class that is implementing the interface. So it has to override this fun method. Public void fun method system.out.println. Just a message is a fun. Message is a fun, that is. Now here I'm taking one more class, is a second class. Second. Okay. In the second class, I'm defining a static method. Method name is a get first. Get first, the method we are taking. Sir, what this get first method is doing? Remember, get first is always returning interface object. Returning interface. See, but can you create object for interface? Test t is equal to new test. Will it allow? No, because it is an interface. In Java, interfaces cannot be instantiated directly. But you can create object for the implemented class. In place of test, you can write first. You can write what? First, new first. We know that upcasting concept. Implemented class object or child class object you can store into the parent type reference variable. This concept is called upcasting. Upcasting. So what is the return type? Simply, it is returning the T. T is a which type? Test type. Test is a which type? Interface type. Interface. Return type is a interface. The question is a method is returning that interface. But remember, returning that interface means what? It is not interface object. It is the implemented class object. Every interface has implementation. This is implemented class object. So now we are calling from the main. How to call get first method? It is the static method. So we are calling using the class name. What is the class name? Second. What is the method name? Get first. Method name is a get first. And what it is returning? Test. Test, it is returning test. We are collecting into test. Any variable you can take. It's an just object name. Same variable name you can give or different. So with the help of that, you can access the functionality of this fun. Simply t.fun. We are accessing like this. t.fun. And here it is. When you are executing that, so main, sorry, I forgot to write a main method. That's the problem. Okay. This is the output. When you are executing this one, you will get the output like this. Just output is a fun. Message is printing that fun. Okay. Now, in the same way, the method is taking. See, for example, let me explain one example with the help of this. Okay. Suppose, right, I'm removing this one. In JDBC, we have seen whenever we are calling driver manager dot get connection object, driver manager dot get connection, okay, it is returning that connection object. It is returning what? Connection object. Now let me explain. Here it is. Connection is an interface. First point. Connection is an interface. That is, what are the methods inside that connection is a later. Because after that, what we call connection dot create statement. No? Connection dot create statement. Some methods we write like this. Imagine this method is there. Void create statement. Some method is there. We don't want. Next one, class driver manager class. What this driver manager class having static get connection method is there. But it is returning which object? Connection object it is returning. Connection is an interface. See? Connection. Somewhere for this connection implemented class is there inside. What it is returning? Returning new connection implementation. Whatever the class name, we don't know. That is implicit code. So here what I'm trying to say, whenever you are calling get connection method, it's a static method, belongs to driver manager class. That's why we call driver manager dot get connection. So what it is returning? It is returning connection object. Connection is an interface. So get connection method is creating object for connection implementation. Some other class is there, connection implementation class. That object it will return. That is okay. Now in the same way, next point is the first one we discussed that method returns interface. Now next one, method takes interface as argument. It's the same story. Interface I am taking, test only. Next, inside that one method I am taking fun. Again, the first class, which is implementing the interface called test. So it is overriding the method fun with a simple message. Now I am taking the second class, class second. Here it is in a second class. In second class, I am writing again one static method. Now it is not get method, it is a set method. Set first, or simply set test. Anything, set test or set first. It is taking the test as an input. It is not returning anything. It is not returning anything. There is one method name is a set test. It is taking test type as an input. Test type means interface type as an input. So whenever you are calling this set test method, it is a static method. So we are accessing using the class name second dot set test. You need to pass the test value, but test is an interface, same story. Can you create object for test directly? New test, is that possible? No. So always we create object for implemented class only. Implemented class is nothing but first. Create object for first. Then we are passing this t as an input. So indirectly you are passing what? Implemented class object. That object will go and store into this t. It's an argument. We are passing the parameter. You can collect into any variable, of course, x, y, z, a, b, c, your wish. Simply with that, you can call that fun method. You can call fun method. That is, you will get the output. You will get the output is a fun. Directly, instead of collecting into test and all, that new first, directly you can write in a parenthesis also. In parenthesis, in a single line. It's a new first object you are passing, but you are collecting into test type. Reason is what? First is already implemented test. So you can pass. You will get the output is a fun. This is the simple way of writing. The method taking interface and the method is returning interface. A very important point. It's impossible to instantiate interface. Then how it is possible? Every interface has implementation. Every interface has implementation. That implemented object only we are returning through upcasting. Interface object is equal to new implemented class. This one. We are returning that class object and we are passing class object only. But you are specifying that interface. This concept is called upcasting. We know already upcasting very well. Hope you understood.